Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome from a very chilly Melbourne, but nice and cozy in here. I am here to talk about the spiritual teacher archetype and really look at the challenge that we have as spiritual women in particular, who I serve. The teacher archetype is one that we often crave to step into, and yet we doubt ourselves, or we resist it, or we cover it up with, I'm a circle holder or a space holder or some kind of wishy-washy vague phrase, rather than being unafraid of that authority to lead, which is what the teacher does, right? They're the energetic leader of a space. And it is something I see all the time, spiritual women hiding their power for fear of being seen as aggressive or know-it-all, or whatever the story might be, right? I mean, we live in the age where every time I open this app, someone's referring to women as girlies, or we can only talk if we're speaking in these really hushed tones. And it's like, no, actually, I'm really powerful. I am disruptive. My job is not to be here for your comfort and to affirm all of these fake ideas of power in women, but rather to be here for your evolution, right? I'm here for your evolution, not your comfort. And to me, as a spiritual teacher, that is what it is all about, right? My job is to ensure the conditions are there for you as the learner to feel safe enough to take the risk to step into your own power. And the reason why the teacher archetype means so much to me is because I want to transfer this wisdom, this knowledge to others so they can be their own leader of their own life, right? I'm an amazing intuitive. I could have built my whole business around just doing intuitive readings, giving you the answer, telling you what you need, and that does not satisfy me whatsoever. My job is to empower you to know you are the freaking oracle. You may have conditions in your life that are preventing you from trusting and knowing your intuition, but as a teacher, my job is not to silo that knowledge or keep all of this as like some special magic gift, because intuition is not special. And it is not magic. It is our innate birthright. Biologically, we are all built to be the receivers of intuitive intelligence. And the conditions for accessing it are also learnable. It is not special. It is simply who we are. And so I fiercely protect the idea that my highest purpose in this life is to transfer that knowledge to as many people as I can in order to be able to turn that on in you, that inner authority. So you are your own guru. You are your own teacher. So we come into the teaching and learning environment with a great spiritual teacher when we are, like, we know we're in with a great spiritual teacher when their mandate is to empower you to be able to replace them effectively, right? To be that teacher, that guide for yourself. This is not a small thing because we run away from self-reliance, right? It's easier to imagine there's someone out there who has all the answers, and if I just pay them enough money or I find the right person, they will solve the problems of my life. To take that personal responsibility, to feel safe to take that personal responsibility, is the experience that a great spiritual teacher transfers to you. I am running a series of masterclasses on what makes a great spiritual teacher, and we're looking at everything from the program design, the curriculum, the pedagogy, the learning and teaching experience, metacognition, all of the aspects of great teaching and learning experiences, but also, more importantly, how you activate your own teacher archetype. And that is unique to you, right? This is the other reason why we often shy away, is because we think we have to do it like someone else. I am a fierce teacher. I am very happy to tell that to my students. I do not shy away from that responsibility of bringing the discomfort, right? That will agitate you out of the known, the habitual response. I'm not here for your comfort. I'm here for your evolution. But you have your own teacher archetype, and it is within you, waiting to be given the permission to rise. So if you are feeling that calling to take up space, to share your knowledge, your lived experience, your wisdom, your readiness is not about, have I studied enough? Have I learnt enough? Have I lived enough? It's that willingness to lead others to their own liberation. And to do that, we must be unafraid of our own power. We must be willing to see that others can only step into their inner authority when we are the demonstration. To teach is to demonstrate. I cannot teach you anything that I am not embodying. We've all been in that spiritual context where we can feel the disconnect between what the teacher is sharing with us and what they embody. And that congruence is the self-reliance. It is that humility to say, I am the first recipient of all that I teach, right? I am the first student of all that I teach. You know, the greatest teachers are the greatest students. I will never stop being a humble student, not only of the work I bring into the world, but of the great teachers that are out there. And this energy of humility comes from being with a teacher who is humble enough to say that they are the student of what they offer. This may not be true in high school education, but when we're talking about spiritual teaching, there's a good chance that what you're teaching is what you care most about, right? There's a lot of information, wisdom, knowledge, practices out there in the world. But if you're feeling called to tell others about certain aspects of your own awakening journey, there's a very good chance that that is because it is yours to offer. And that is being the demonstration, right? To be able to lead from a place of integrity, of authenticity, of congruence. So the idea in our masterclass is that I'm going to take you through, well, there's 4. You can do 1, you can do all 4. These keys to turning on that teacher archetype within you in a way that you are unafraid of, so you feel safe to make those bold leaps in faith, that you can lead your students to do the same, that you are not shying away from that power. We know what it feels like to be in a classroom or learning experience where the teacher is not in their authority. And as I said, there's many ways to do that. I'm fierce. You may not be. You may be gentle. You may be curious. You may be playful. But to find that inner archetype is how we start to trust ourselves, right? Just as there's not one way to receive intuition, there are 4 dominant clairs. And when you figure out your clair, you feel so much bolder with your own intuitive knowing. You can trust yourself. So it goes with our teacher archetype. There is a free masterclass if you would like to journey with me to discover your teacher archetype. And I'm going to share the links to all of this with you. But I want you to give yourself permission to realize that you are ready. You are capable. You are meant to share if it is burning inside of you and you want others to have it. And this is how we overcome the guru culture. This is how we move beyond this idea that I have all the answers. Come to me. I'll heal you. I'll give you the intuitive knowing. I'll fix your problems. And instead we empower others to know that they are capable of doing that for themselves. This knowledge transference, I think, is the most profound gift that we have. And so if we stay in our shadow student archetype where we hoard knowledge, we do course after course, and we never pay it forward, we never either embody it confidently because we're afraid of our own power and self-reliance, or we just keep saying, next course I'll be ready, next course I'll be ready, next course I'll be ready. It's like there is no magical time where someone gives you a permission slip and says, okay, you're good enough now, right? That is an inner decision, that inner authority, trusting yourself to know if there is a calling within you to lead others to their own liberation. However you do that, whatever content you share, then do not deny that. Do not say no to that purpose, that God-given purpose. Get over yourself, get out of the way, right? And let that energy lead. But yeah, there are ways we can do it better. There are ways that we can create transformational teaching and learning experiences that stay in the hearts and minds of those that we serve long after the class is over. And I cannot wait to share this knowledge with you. So I will be sharing a link in the comments, probably, I think that's what I'll do, that will give you access to the free masterclass, How to Be an Exceptional Spiritual Teacher. and the information about the masterclass series that I'm running in June and July, which will give you everything you need to feel emboldened in your spiritual teacher archetype. The world needs those of us who have this wisdom to lead. We cannot let the leaders of today out there keep on destroying the world, destroying humanity through this abuse of power. If you feel the call to lead, to transfer knowledge, to embolden others with your wisdom, now is the time, my darling. Now is the time. And it would be my absolute privilege to give you those little bits and pieces of information that will turn this from a nice idea into a living reality. And if you're already an established teacher, I know you're humble enough to know we can always get better. And that is how we continue to evolve. And that's how we inspire those who come into our learning temples. Have the most glorious day and weekend if you're in the Southern Hemisphere like I am. It is Friday. I'm just checking in my brain. That is true. I believe it is. And I'll see you very soon. Bye.